Welcome back to this series on what was being called the World Domination Custom Cabinetry app during alpha and beta testing, but today is finally getting its final name or launch name of Custom Cabinet Planner. Today we're going to do the intro to procedures, which will be several sessions on the procedures themselves. So let's begin. The procedures area is an operations manual, or aka standard operating procedures, reimagined. In the past, most of us used Microsoft Word or a specialized software program to produce a hard copy of our procedures, then printed those out, then distributed them throughout our facility, attempting to have the information or instructions our team needed at the point of need. Obviously, these were incredibly useful, and from my own personal experience, I would attribute quite a bit of what success I achieved in this industry to my operations manual. The procedures inside of Custom Cabinet Planner are 10x better than that. What I mean by an operations manual reimagined is that this is both room-specific and context-sensitive information, using portals to display the information or instructions needed when needed. Using the template feature of Notion, we produce a new procedures page for each room, and then we can have a checkbox list, bulleted list, numbered list, etc., etc., etc. of each thing that we need a team member to do, and in the order they need to do it. And each time they need information that lives somewhere else in the app, we can display that context-sensitive information in a portal, i.e. project status, room status, selections, appliances, accessories, images, etc. In addition, we can have calculators and converters to do all kinds of math and conversions for us. Math and conversions specific to what we do and the room we are working on. Another aspect of the reimagined part of this is that these are digital procedures, so they can be edited by anyone at the point of use. Remember paper procedures and what was entailed in editing them? And although paper procedures can include images, digital procedures can include video, and both can be edited and or added on the fly. As I see it, this is the alchemist's third goal realized, the transmutation of base metals to gold. Only we are transmuting paper documentation to digital gold. Some might even call it magic. Now let's shift gears for a few minutes and talk about the stages of business development. Looking at the 5 stages below, which are from the book Systemology, we see step 3 is scalable, which has been a stumbling block for far too many cabinet makers. Some cabinet makers spend their entire career in survival mode. So if we look at these 5 steps, the bottom one, number 1 is survival, 2 is stable, 3 is scalable, 4 is saleable, and 5 is the goal. But today we're kind of talking about this third step, or scalable. Once you've got a good amount of your core business systems documented, this is where things start to get interesting. You have now proven your core business model works. You still need to extract and organize systems from all business departments, but you're well on your way. If you want a scalable and ultimately saleable business, you have to have systems. You have to get all the information that is living in the heads of your key employees and yourself into writing, images, and videos. That is what this procedures portion of this Custom Cabinet Planner app is all about. Each of the categories we see on the procedures page represent a process, for example machining, or a group of processes, for example CNC router, saw, edge band, etc., that we typically do to sell, design, engineer, manufacture, deliver, and install custom cabinetry. Each process area is divided up into 3 distinct sections: setup, process, and maintenance. So in the setup section, this is what you need and what you need to do to get ready to do the work. And then the process portion, doing the work, and then the maintenance portion. What do we do after doing the work, and what needs to be done to complete the process before moving to the next step or transfer batch. Below you see a lot of categories, and we'll just touch on these very briefly. This is copied right out of the Custom Cabinet Planner, so we're going to just touch on them briefly to explain them for this intro, and then we'll actually dive into them in this multi-session portion of the processes. As it relates to our prospective clients, our objective for everything we do could be described as managing expectations. But in manufacturing, we deal with more than customers. We have vendors, suppliers, our team members, and subcontractors we must communicate with effectively. So from this point on, although these procedures serve many purposes, their primary and or essential purpose is threefold. Keep it simple, stupid, remove the opportunity for the mistake from the process, and set the next person up for success, even if that next person is you. So in the ballpark section, the objective here is to pre-qualify the client, to see if we are playing in the same ballpark or league. Some people cannot afford what you do, and we need to spend the least amount of time possible determining whether the client can afford your cabinetry or not. This section would also include a peek into your delivery schedule, so you can also pre-qualify to see if they can wait until you're actually able to produce the cabinets and deliver those to them. Then the selections meeting. Assuming your ballpark estimate was satisfactory, that the price range you provided fit within their budgetary constraints, real or perceived, we then need to start gathering the required information needed to provide the client with a formal estimate. To do that, we need to know what species, door, finish, etc. they will want in each room. Then the estimate procedures. Based on the selections we gather in the last process, we will use our favorite estimating program or spreadsheet to produce a formal estimate, which is a non-binding document basically saying, with what we know up to this point, this is what we think your project will cost, with the desired outcome being a signed estimate with a check for our design fee. The next section is field measure procedures. The objective here is to not only measure the spaces where the cabinetry will live, but the surrounding area, so we can draw rooms with windows, doors, and fixtures to provide the clients with context, how these things are positioned in relation to one another, and identify any conflicts or issues. Design procedures. The primary objective here is to communicate extraordinarily well, to manage expectations, to provide the client, our team, and any other stakeholder drawings that communicate well. The desired outcome is to get initial drawings, which allows us to schedule our double-check field measurement site visit. The next section is double-check field measure procedures. The objective here is to measure twice, cut once. The next section, proposal procedures. Once you have double-checked the field measurements, we can edit our shop drawings to reflect any changes and use those drawings to edit our estimate so that it becomes our proposal, a legal binding contract. The next section is engineering procedures. Engineering is a step far too many basically skip. The objective is to review the design with an eye for conflict, making sure everything will work as intended, then double-check everything, then make code or cut lists that include shop drawings. The next section, material acquisitions procedures. The objective here is to order all job-specific materials required, along with replenishing any stocked materials to make certain all required materials are available once the project or project phase is released to manufacturing. Then our next section is receiving inventory procedures. This is another step too many manufacturers skip or do poorly. The objective being to make certain we got what we ordered and that it is not damaged, wrong in some way, or unusable for any reason. The earlier we discover an issue, the more likely we can limit the severity of its impact. The next section being machine procedures. This section has lots of subsections, but the objective for all is to get the cabinets machined correctly and at the right time, not too late, but also not too early. And then the next section is finish procedures. The objective here is to get everything that needs to be finished. This sounds easy, but this is where mistakes have the most impact for the majority of cabinet makers. So we want to make sure we are finishing with the right finish products, color and sheen, and finish well. No orange peel, overspray, fish eyes, blushing, etc. Doing everything required and doing it in the correct order is absolutely necessary in the finish department, and it is critical to a successful project. The next section is assembly procedures. The objective here is to assemble the cabinetry and do so efficiently and 100% correct. Step-by-step instructions with images is great, but supporting video is even better. If an image is worth 1,000 words, a video must be 10x more valuable. The next section is hardware procedures. For many, this step and the previous step are one and the same, done in the same location by the same team member. But my recommendation is to keep them as separate procedures so that when you do grow into needing them separate, you don't have to rebuild these sections. The objective is to add the drawers, doors, glass for doors, all accessories, surface hardware, etc. to the cabinets, and then wrap them and load them, ready for delivery. This includes making sure everything needed for the project is on the truck or trailer. Then our next section is delivery procedures. The objective here is to get all the cabinetry from your plant to the job site in perfect condition. Then to get the cabinetry either in the room adjoining the room cabinetry will be installed in, or in the room itself, providing that there's still room to work. Then our final section is installation procedures. The objective is to get the cabinetry installed, plumb and level, and in the correct position without damaging the floors, walls, trim, etc. That covers everything I wanted to touch on in this introduction to the procedures page. Up next, we will be taking a brief look at each of the sections of our sequence of events of the procedures page. Thanks for watching.